All right, welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. Thanks for joining us this morning. We invite you to join the conversation on Getter, on Rumble, on YouTube. I don't know, maybe my mom has a podcast. I don't know. The point is, it's everywhere. Time now to take the political pulse of America. The beat today, President Trump mobilizing evangelical pastors down in North Carolina. He's urging them to recruit 500 church members to run for office in 2026 and 2028. The message was delivered in a video to hundreds of pastors and their spouses attending the Nehemiah Project. It's an event hosted by the American Renewal Project. Trump praised the movement, saying faith leaders have already been winning elections in droves and are help turning back America towards its biblical foundations. Have a look.
Hello to everyone at the North Carolina Nehemiah Pastor Summit, along with David and Cindy Lane and the American Renewal Project. Very exciting. Across the state, you have inspired dozens of faith leaders to run for office and to win elections, and they've been winning them in droves, including me. It is truly encouraging to see so many Americans of faith stepping forward to serve. As president, I have ended the radical left war on religious believers, and I stopped the Biden administration's persecution of Christians and pro-life activists. I created a presidential commission to protect religious liberty, and we established the Department of Justice task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias, of which, sadly, there's a lot, but we have pretty much put it to an end. We also restored the fundamental principle that God created two genders, male and female. And we're keeping men out of women's sports. Everybody knows that. It was a big reason I won. Not the biggest, perhaps, but it was a big reason. As we work to defend these achievements and expand our movement in the years to come, I will be cheering you on as you recruit 500 church members to run for office in 2026 and 2028. More and more, you're running and you're winning. So once again, thank you for your outstanding work, and God bless America.
Great stuff by President Trump. David Lane and the folks at American Renewal Project doing wonderful work. For more, let's welcome to American Sunrise, Eric Metaxas, author and host of the Eric Metaxas Show. Eric, great to see you. You know, Trump, as he would say, he loves the evangelicals. I like how he always puts the before evangelicals, by the way. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. And I'm a card-carrying evangelical. I've misplaced the card, but I guarantee you I have it.
Right. Tell us more about what's going on in this country and how President Trump, I tell you what, talk about God having a sense of humor, and driving the liberals nutso. I mean, putting putting Trump for such a time as this, it really, it shows you that we have an active God who's on the throne, who knows that, hey, just because maybe a few commandments were broken along the way by him and others, God uses imperfect people to accomplish his perfect will.
That's the whole message of the new covenant. It's called grace. And there are many people who think they understand Christian faith and Christians. If you don't understand grace, you don't understand anything. And there's no doubt from the beginning, evangelicals. I remember I was at the meeting in 2016 here in Manhattan, where I live. And Trump came, and I think he was expecting like a chilly reception. Oh, these church people, they know my past. They're not going to receive me warmly. Precisely the opposite. Why? Yeah. Well, the cynical secular left would say, oh, because it's transactional. We want something from him. Well, I have to tell you, it's not that, although transactional is not necessarily bad. That's called representational government, where we, the people, say we want this and we want a leader who's going to do what we want because we're the leaders of the government. And so that day, only because people believe in grace. Christians believe in grace. And I think that he was shocked by that, and he has been really blessed by his warm reception by people of faith. And let's not either pretend that he is not pro-faith. That's not an act. He gets that. You know, we've talked to him personally about it. So it really is, it's so fascinating. But to me, the most fascinating thing is how the left doesn't speak this language. So they're completely baffled. They're stymied by it. The president's support for religious liberty 2 days ago, unprecedented, absolutely amazing. It's an honor for me to be on the commission and to be in the room while it all went down.
Yeah, but you've been there. You had me at Bonhoeffer, as you know, since
Yes.
I love your work, and I've always said you're my favorite author to read, and all my children have to read your books as well. But you've been there. This has been a long, slow process, right? I think I've known you for probably close to 2 decades, Eric, and you've never stopped. You've worked quietly behind the scenes. You've done the hard work that's in the trenches. I don't know about you, but I was just thrilled with the abolition of the Johnson Amendment. Like, for me, that was a huge thing as a Christian. But President Trump has gone beyond that, and he's done so much. Where does this go next? Because I think we as Christians are kind of watching this whole thing go down, there's a danger, Eric, in being too forgiving of a candidate, perhaps because they say the right thing. The next candidate for president, the next candidate for everything is going to say the right thing, right, to believers in general. And there's a little bit of trepidation, for me at least, in that, having been a part of this movement for so long. I have a feeling you know where I'm going with this, and you're much more articulate than me. Go on this.
Well, look, first of all, we've got to be clear about this. I don't care if a politician says, I am a Christian. Everybody should know by now, if a candidate says, I am a Christian, that means absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
It means nothing. I don't care what you say. I care what you do. We had Mike Pence. We had George W. Bush. We had, I mean, you could even say Obama claimed to be a Christian, but Mike Pence and George W. Bush clearly were quote unquote evangelical Christians. That doesn't mean that they understand what courage is. It doesn't mean that they understand what it is to do the will of we, the people. Just because you're a Christian, there are plenty Christians out there and plenty Christians on the left who they get everything wrong. What we're looking for is leaders who understand the fundamentals. And when we say when you say where are we going, hopefully where we're going is backwards to the founders' vision. I'm writing a big book right now on the American Revolution to come out next year, and the level of faith that was present in our founding is astonishing. I am astonished by the level of Christian faith involved in our founding. Now, when I say involved, I mean, it wasn't just there. It was central to America coming into existence. You cannot get America without robust expressions of Christian faith. And I mean, I could show you on a whiteboard behind me, I could show you there's no way you get representational government as we have had, like real liberty, real freedom, unless you have people who really understand the Bible and the ideas that come out of the Bible. It goes through John Locke and on and on and on. But when you see it, you realize you do not even get America without robust expressions of Christian faith. Now, this doesn't mean that the government can force people to be Christians. Of course, we believe in liberty and religious liberty, but we have to go back to where this secular establishment, the Constitution says we're not supposed to have establishment of religion. We've had effectively the establishment, the unconstitutional establishment of a secular government where we push God out. That is as bad as if everybody is commanded, you have to go to the Episcopal Church on Sunday morning. The government is not supposed to get involved in this stuff, but we've had secularists pretend that by taking God out, that's not the establishment of religion. That is essentially the establishment of a secular religion, a leftist secular religion where the state is God, where the state tells you what to do, which is antithetical to the founders' vision in the founding documents that we, the people, we govern ourselves. We have natural rights given to us by our Creator. He created us, that's in our documents, and he gave us natural rights. So all of that stuff, we've drifted over the decades far away from that. And by God's grace, Donald Trump is being used to bring us back to where we need to be. This is not to be an overtly Christian nation, but it's to be a fundamentally a Christian nation in our bones. And so it's a very, very exciting time. And I do think the Lord is doing it. This is not like it might happen. It's happening. We have to stay the course. We have to be honest and clear about what we're talking about. This is the antithesis of bringing theocracy to America. I was on TMZ last night. They're all worried about, we're going to have, people with guns forcing children to pray in schools. And, they present this fear-mongering picture of how terrible faith is and prayer is oppressive. It's just the opposite. But, we've got a lot of work to do to convince people who don't understand this stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Eric Metaxas, as I said, you have been there from the very beginning, and just congratulations to you. You were called out by the president at the event. We all watched it live on this network, and we just appreciate you, all your work, the long journey you've had, and the long journey ahead, because I know you'll still be fighting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Still ahead on American Sunrise, a veteran in New York is fighting to keep his Trump is my president flag a-flying, calling it a First Amendment right. The Village says it violates their code and it must come down. The details of one patriot's fight just ahead. Also, later, a long-lost class ring has been returned to its rightful owner after 56 years. Thanks to the determination of a Long Island beachcomber and his little metal detector. After more than 5 decades, one man finally holds his high school ring again. A miracle many thought impossible. Stick around. More American Sunrise. 2 minutes.